We are finally getting the PPF on. And it should even everything out, guys. The air ducts, the splitter, you know it's going to get scratched up, not really worried about it. So, just like the grill. But we are going to do the front bumper, the headlights, the hood, because we did have that big rock chip, the whole right side of the car. Oh, this is a great chance to see the car as it's driving. Not something you see every day. I'm telling you, Drew looks good in the M4. Just wait till he hits a CS. I feel like that's in his future, guys. What's good, fam? Welcome back to Unlockable Character. We have a beautiful color on this CLA in front of us. You might be able to see it when it's under some light. It's like a light gold copper, and the more I think about it, like a liquid copper individual G80 would be so hard. And not just that, but liquid copper with the Ford blue bucket seats, I mean, that would just be so different, so hard. And it would, you know, the color combinations can really help you set your car apart. The G80 and G82, they're not limited edition cars, you know what I mean? You can get the CSL for the M4 and the M4 CS now, and the M3 CS. Those are limited edition, and they do come in some pretty cool colors, like Riviera Blue on the M4 and Frozen Isle of Man Green as well. So, I mean, colors, when you're not getting a CS or a CSL, you can get an individual BMW G80 or G82. You have to ask the dealership for the allocation, and the paint is usually about $4,000 or more, depending on what paint you choose. But then you can really make your car stand out. And the other way to make your car stand out is to get a non-individual paint color. Let's say like a standard blue, or like a standard white, even like a Sao Paulo yellow, which is an individual, and then do a frozen PPF on top of it. So different PPF companies have different products. XPEL has their frozen PPF, and that's actually what I have on my car. And it's on top of the frozen paint, so the car is frozen black. Yeah, the CLAs always do dumb shit like go to the other lane. The problem with most Atlanta drivers is they won't let you know that they're going to change into a lane that's not your lane. They'll just start accelerating while they're in the same lane as you, so you won't know where they're going. And CLAs, as I've identified in the past, are like the third biggest problem behind Chargers and Altimas. So right now, guys, it's Monday. We are taking the car to Drew to finally get the PPF on the car, and that's why I was talking about PPF. So we're finally going to put the PPF on the painted pieces. Front bumper, the whole right side. We can swap out and freshen up some pieces as well. The hood definitely needs to be freshened up because we took a big rock chip. Hopefully it didn't go through to the paint. We'll see when we take it off. And it should just keep like a nice even sheen to the car, because right now you can tell where the car was painted and then polished after the painting. There's a slightly different effect or finish, and I think the satin PPF will just even that all out. Surprisingly, the car is already warm. The garage was like 70 degrees, but now that we're outside, it's 46 degrees. So it's kind of nice that, you know, I get to park my car in a completely enclosed garage. A lot of people in Atlanta, they don't have that luxury. Like, this is really dumb too. Like, what's the point? Where are they gonna go? We did have storms that were forecasted to come through, and it was really just some wind, a lot of lightning, but not too bad. Like, there was a tornado warning. Thankfully, we didn't have a tornado. I got a lot of content over the weekend. The last video I posted in the beginning, you guys saw the German Automotive Syndicate meet, which happened on Sunday, and at the middle of the video, you saw the Peachtree CCA BMW meet, which also happened on Sunday. So I still have all the German Automotive Syndicate meet content, which will be coming this week. And I'm trying to pace it out so I have content for a few days while the car is getting the PPF put on. And I know that I had some requests for what my morning routine is like, so I really pushed myself to get up at 4:15 a.m. And when I get up at 4:15 a.m., the world is really quiet and I can just focus on what I really want to accomplish for the day, so I can actually have time to myself without feeling stress of, you know, the commute or the rush hour or anyone else. I feel like I'm alone with my thoughts and there's not much negative or external energy that can affect me. And what I really like to do is map out my day. I like to go to my gym in the morning, get content either on the way or on the way back. And when you go at that time, you know, no one is really there. So the gym is also like a place where you feel like you're in solitude. When I get back, I have a protein shake, and I also use this muscle massaging tool. It's kind of like a belt, but it's got a lot of padding, and essentially, if you've ever seen people use tennis balls against a wall to kind of smoothen out their muscle and massage out their muscle, this machine has essentially like 3 tennis balls on each side, and they rotate and they have heat. And I apply that to my lower back, moving all the way up. So it really kind of, I call it, activates my spine, and it helps me really recover a lot faster, and it helps with myofascial release for muscle tension, which is super important because especially as you get older, you know, you can get stiffer, your muscles aren't as flexible and mobile, and you know, really a lot of lactic acid can build up, and it helps just me, you know, be consistent with going to the gym because I'm not as sore and I feel better. It actually kind of activates a lot for me. And also, funny enough, guys, for longevity's sake, your spinal health is super important. And when you can use a machine that basically massages your spine from the down up, you're activating a lot of your nervous system, because think about all the nerves that run down your spine. I find that everything is just brighter after that. You know, my head feels lighter, colors feel brighter, sounds sound better. It's like a natural high. And so just doing that for 15 to 30 minutes every day is a huge advantage for me in my day-to-day. It's kind of like having these rituals that give you power because they help you hone your natural abilities. You know what I mean? There's nothing artificial about what I'm doing. It is a device that helps massage my spine, but you know, it's not like a substance or anything like that. Now, I do take pre-workout. You know, I think it just, when you're up at 4 a.m., it hits you so hard too, you know what I mean? Because it's so early, and I love that. I try not to drink it all before I get to the gym. I try to just have a little bit, and then while I'm at the gym, I drink through the whole bottle. So this is a blender bottle, actually. It comes with a blender. These are really lightweight. I like them. I buy, it comes with two or three bottles. I think I buy a new set every year, swap them out, and it fits perfectly in the car cup holder. And this is what I use for my pre-workout, and then I change the lid when I get home to a blender lid, and then I blend up pre-workout, no, sorry, not pre-workout, protein. I use Isopure, which is my favorite protein, with milk, some peanut butter, maybe throwing in some bananas. And that's really my morning routine. And when I get back, after all that's done, you know, the massage is done, shower, at that point, I'm actually able to think through what my day is gonna look like. I'll probably already have content so I can create a video that morning. I use iMovie. I've been using iMovie since I started. When I started filming and creating content for YouTube, I started with an old GoPro. I think it was like a Hero 7 or 8. And I bought an iPad Pro so that I could preview the shot in my car, and so that I could also edit on the iPad, because the iPad Pro that I got, I believe, has like the M2 chip, which is the Apple's chip, and it's really fast. So I was taking all the content from the GoPro, and then I was taking the SD card from the GoPro and attaching it to an adapter for USB-C for the iPad, importing the content, and then using iMovie to edit the movies. And one thing that I found that really worked well is just authentic long shots. You're not over editing. It's kind of like people are hanging out with you, you know what I mean? That's the best type of content for what I'm doing, is POV kind of narration stuff. because people feel like they're right there with you. And you know, I'm not trying to attract kids under 10 who have no attention span. What's really good about YouTube is when you think about, if you want to get monetized, you're going to be advertising. Basically, YouTube is going to assign the ads, and it's going to be based on who your viewers are. I'm really glad that my viewers are, you know, generally between 18 and 34, mostly male in Western countries who want luxury goods, you know, cars, car modifications. They're also into action and adventure video games, which is funny. YouTube gives you all of these analytics, by the way, and it affects your basically how much money you get paid for 1,000 views. So when you have a very young audience, you know, that's a very cheap audience because they don't have their own purchasing power. So if you create content for kids, your money per $1,000 is going to be much less than if you create contents for adults who want to buy luxury goods. If you talk about finance, for example, you can get paid a lot of money on YouTube if you're able to grow your channel. And the in-car content, I think, is amazing. Not everyone has to do POV stuff. You can have the camera face you can drive normally, and you can just kind of tell a story, you know what I mean? People love that. I'm gonna further adjust the XHP tune. That fourth gear, I just need to adjust the torque reduction and the torque punch. And I wanna mess with the shift maps a little bit on the car. There's also traction control presets, and there's an all-wheel drive preset that I may adjust so that's kind of like boost by gear, so you can build a more linear map of how the power is delivered, rather than right now the power is delivered really down low. I would say like peaking between 4,000 to 5,000 RPM. It's so funny that it's become a trend now, right, guys, to lift these SUVs, even the luxury ones. Like the Lexus, it's a GX, I think. That was an expensive SUV when it came out. This whole thing with car culture, guys, you don't have to enjoy cars just from a sports car perspective. You could enjoy cars that are, you know, like lifted trucks, off-roading vehicles. There's so much to it. There's drifting, there's circuit racing. I mean, cars are almost like intertwined with human history for the past like 100 years, right? And I think we're in the golden age for gasoline engine cars. We're just about exiting that age. I think the M4 and the M3 is a perfect example of like peak car. M2 very much so at like $60,000 for what you get in a basically readily made, you know, factory production car. This engine, the S58, absolutely a masterpiece. On the flip side, the Corvette, the C8 Corvette, which when it came out, we're talking about the base Corvette, you know, was pushing like 100K at dealerships. You can get that for 50 to 60K now, and that's a mid-engine American sports car. What other mid-engine sports car with over 400, you know, horsepower can you get for 50, 60K? That's crazy. That's amazing, you know? And then the Z06 will definitely drop into the, I think 70 to 80 range, and that is also, for me, like perfect sports car. A lot of people just are all over the place, cannot drive. Like the Lexus is now behind us when they could have just maintained their lane. Playboi Carti's album dropped, guys. Honestly, pretty good. But it gave me a lot of what I call like listening fatigue, because the volume levels are really pushed up. You can tell in the production. Mojo Jojo is definitely my favorite track. It's really hard. But yeah, so been listening to that, and then going back to old Future and Young Thug unreleased tracks. This buildup of cars in the middle lane doesn't really make much sense, you know what I mean? I told Drew we'd be there at 8:15 a.m. I think we can beat that time. Another GX lifted. That's crazy. Work van with way too many ladders on it. Actually, is that a reasonable amount? I think there's only 2. I'd say that's pretty reasonable. Shouldn't be in the left lane though. Oh man. The ambulance had their lights on, now their lights are off, so let's see what that's about. We're in the stiffest settings right now, so if you're sensing the car is bouncing a little bit more, it's a little bit more firm, you're absolutely right. I like stiff settings on all-wheel drive sport. I think is that a BMW SUV on the left and a Mercedes on the right? The taillights are getting too similar, guys. It's crazy. Is that Snellville? Fulton Schools? That's funny. Come on. This Nissan Altima on the left with the 2.5 S trim is holding people up. Person has been on their brakes for the last, I would say, 10 seconds. How are you on your brakes and accelerating up a hill? It's Texas 2K right now. If we did a big single turbo, I would definitely go to Texas 2K. That'd be sick. I think most people are so, you know, caught up in the daily grind. They're not even looking forward to going where they're going. Just about to pull up on Drew, guys. I was saying, you know, when you are able to afford a car that puts you in a different mood when you're going to wherever you need to go, it's just a whole different ball game, you know what I mean? You want to get to where you're going. You're gonna put in effort and focus to drive. Oh wow, that's a pretty big pothole. So when you want to look at what's in front of you, you know, you're parked up maybe at a stoplight and you think there's a pothole, you can hit that camera button. And that's one thing, the front camera, and I think it could be the 360 camera, you can't get that on the CS and the CSL. And it does come in handy. I mean, if you always reverse into a parking lot, not that big of a deal. But when you're city driving even, I mean, it's very helpful. That was weird. car just wanted to go for no reason. That was hilarious. Tires are still cold, they're at 70 degrees, so that makes a lot of sense. But you can tell, guys, that was not much throttle. We were actually in second gear, and that went completely sideways. But again, I had shifted the car to move around that pothole, and then I had abruptly moved the wheel, so it makes sense. But please note that I stayed in it. You know, I was modulating the throttle, and that's how you don't lose the car. Could have been like a wet spot too, honestly. I think Drew is finishing up a G80, a 2025 Isle of Man green over, I think it's Silverstone, which is the black and white interior. So excited to see that. Fam, let me give you a quick rundown. So we're gonna do shadow PPF on the headlights. That's gonna look sick. Front bumper PPF, XPEL satin. We replaced the hood PPF, that's going to be XPEL satin. There was a big rock chip, it didn't hit the paint at all. The PPF saved the paint there. This driver's side is pretty good. Oh, Drew, the side skirts, which we consider the rocker panels, door handles. We're going to polish up the taillights. We're going to do the top of the wing, the rear bumper, including the diffuser. And it's gonna look pretty sick, guys. I'm super excited. We still have canards to go on, so it's gonna be a finishing touch. This whole passenger side PPF, including the mirrors, door handles, side skirts. You can see the gas cap is already off. Car is sitting pretty, guys. And then Drew is able to polish out the scratches on the gloss back trim. That can happen during detailing if people are not careful and they don't mask the gloss black trim and they're polishing the paint. Sometimes that polish can induce scratches, but it'll all get worked out and the car looks super sick, guys. Guys, we're taking off the PPF and the rock chip is completely gone. If you looked at that rock chip from above, you would have thought it would have scraped the paint, but this PPF is thicker than you think. This is XPEL satin PPF, and you're seeing the removal process, but why would you repaint the whole hood if you have PPF? I think it's a great modular solution. So just replace whatever gets damaged. Super sick. All right, guys, we got Tomas starting up the car. We have a beautiful Isle of Man green G80 back there. Full body PPF. Car's in silent mode. Not too bad.